Good evening, children. I'm Sheetal, Careers Head. It is a true pleasure for me to welcome you all to the next event for the August month. Today we have mobile photography session. So at VB Skills, we not only emphasize on academic excellence, but also ensure the overall grooming of an individual. Today we have Mr. Rupayan with us. I welcome Mr. Rupayan, sir. So he's an artist, an art educator, and also holds postgraduate in painting from the University of Hyderabad with many international certificates to his credit, ranging from film, digital art, communication, and social studies. He has also trained many students on mobile photography. His practice primarily revolves around painting, recycled paper making, photography, and alternative photo printing techniques with his interest in printmaking, illustration, and stop motion animation. With more than 7 years of experience in art education, he continues to guide and encourage students for multidisciplinary practice. Request you all to attend the session attentively and gain the maximum out of it. For discipline purpose, we have locked the unmute option for you. Also, you can use the raise hand emoji at the end of the session to clarify your doubts. Okay, children? Over to you, Payan sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. So, hello, everyone. How are you all? All are good? Great, great. It's great to see you all again. So, today, as ma'am told, we are having the mobile photography session, right? So, I would request everyone to get one mobile at your hand and a piece of paper and pencil also. So, it will help us to understand few things if we have the mobile with us, and we need to take some notes. Okay, are you all ready? Yes. Show me a thumbs up. Great, great. Adit, very good. Wonderful. So we are going to start now. I would be sharing my screen. Now, during this session, I would not be able to listen to your queries, but at the end of the session, for last 10 minutes, we will have the queries. You can raise your hand, we will unmute you, and you can ask me. And in between, if you have any questions, you can just write it in the chat box. I'll be able to see them and I will explain them further. Okay, shall we start? Wonderful. So just a minute, give me a moment here. Yeah. Yeah, how to pin the screen? Not getting this option. Yeah. So now, just a moment.
You can start the slideshow, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, so we are talking about the mobile photography, right? So the word photography literally means drawing with light. The word was supposedly first coined by the British scientist Sir John Herschel in 1839 from the Greek word phos. Genitive, the photos meaning the light, and graph meaning the drawing with light. So what are we doing in photography? In photography, we are capturing the light, and along with light, what comes into play? The shadow. If it is entirely fully light or if it is entirely dark, then we don't have a much efficient photograph, right? So when we are talking about drawing with light as a part of photography, we are talking about capturing the light and the shadow portion with equal importance, right? So here we are nowadays we are capable of taking photographs with multiple devices, right? Of course, we have our old DSLR cameras. Before that, the manual SLR cameras, and we have not manual, the analog SLR cameras. And we have the mirrorless nowadays. And along with that evolution, we have the mobiles with us, right? So once we are having the mobile, it became very easy and very much what to say. It is very easy to access, right, for all of us. Now we all are having mobile. It's a multi-purpose device we are having nowadays. So now here, if we open the interface of our camera, how to do so? We have the camera, that image, the button, and we can just click on that icon and we will have access to our camera, right? So now once we are having the access, we can see at the center of our screen will be at the lower portion will be the capture button, right? So this can vary multiple times. We may have in my device, we have a capture button, a toggle button also. I can have the capture button at anywhere on my screen also, right? So, but generally we have the capture button at the bottom center portion of our screen when we are opening the mobile interface, the camera interface in our mobile. Now we know how to click that and how to capture the image, right? Fine, everyone? Yes, clear about it? Very good. Now, just a minute, I will, yeah. No, just, yeah. So here what is happening? We are having the capture button and we know how to capture the photos. We are already done it multiple times. Now, how to develop it further? Now, suppose if I am, just a minute. Yes. So now, along with that, when we are having the capture button, along with that, we are getting some other features also, right? What are those? First, initially, what we are having here is that the zoom control. So there, when you are focusing somewhere, the zoom control can come in multiple ways in our mobile. So now for some mobile, we can just pin it out and pin it in, and we can zoom in and zoom out, right? We can do so. And for some mobiles, it can be sometimes the button on the like there can be, when you are focusing somewhere, there can be a cursor can be coming, or here on my screen you can see that a dial kind of thing is coming here, right? So if we just rotate it, if we just push it further on right or left side, we will be zooming in and zooming out, right? Clear about that? We don't have any confusion in this stage. Now, how to focus, and along with that we are getting the exposure slider. What is that exposure slider? Now suppose you are sitting in any condition, whether it is a dark room, whether it is a natural light, whether it is a like overexposed area. Overexposed area means there is excessive light than we need, right? So that's why we are talking about a exposure slider. We can be sitting at any position in time, right? And we may expect to click a photo at this moment. Now, what to do that time? Now, when you are focusing on some point, suppose your subject matter, when you are focusing, you will see in generally in all the mobiles nowadays, you will get an exposure slider where you can see a symbol of sun or any other symbol associated with it. Very simple things can appear, right? So if we push it up or down or right or left, it can vary from our models of mobiles and our brands, but the concept is primarily the same. Now, if we slide it, you can access your mobile and you can check. If we slide it, in any direction, either the picture will get darker or either the screen will appear brighter, right? It happens. You're all with me? Yes, thumbs up, please. Yes, very good. So now, why we need this? Suppose we are in a very dark area where we want a proper exposure, where we want to see everything properly, comparatively. So there we need to slide it up to increase the brightness for our subject, right? We can do so. And when we are, suppose you are sitting directly against the sun, or the sun is at the background, it is overblowing your entire picture, or any other instances as such, where the light is extremely dominating. And because of this harsh light, we are losing the details in the brighter areas. That can happen sometime. So when we are having that kind of situation, we can slide it down, or we can go to the darker area, the darker portion of the slide, so that we can get a comparatively better exposure where our darker areas and the brighter areas will be balanced equally, okay, or even better. So then before, and we can get a better exposure. Clear about it? We can get that? Yes. So you can try to click some pictures on your own, and you can check this with this process. Okay. So now you can see two screens are here. Mobile screen. The screenshots are there on my screen. And here, the same flower we are having two types. One is extremely overblown, where we are not having the details in the brighter areas. And the other is like it is like comparatively better exposed, where we are having sufficient details in the lighter area and the darker area. But comparatively, this second picture is entirely little darker than the before, right? So by changing this slider position, by changing this, we can just identify which is our perfect exposure at any given point. Okay, and we can take the picture. Now, this feature, what we are talking about, this will be vary from like different situations. Okay, this is not constant, like a control for all kind of photography or all kind of situations wherever we are going to photograph, right? So whenever you are clicking the picture, you have to control this to get a better balance overall and to get a better control of your photograph. Clear? Now we have two associated, like what to say. We have two terminology. We have two terms associated with this process. One is the overexposed, one is the underexposed, right? We are talking about the exposure slider. You can take a note if you want, you will be remembering better. But if you don't have, you can just listen to me also. Now, what is overexposed? When we are, because of the extreme brightness, extreme light, when we are losing these details, that is called overexposed. Okay. When it is called underexposed means when we are, because of the, as we have the slider, we have pushed it further to the darkness. And because of that, when we are losing the details in the darker areas, the brighter area can be proper. But when we are, because of this situation, when we are losing the details in the darker area, exactly opposite of the overexposed, right? That will be called the underexposed, right? And in between of these two will have a proper exposure. Yes. Now, when you need to have a proper exposure, underexposed or overexposed, it's you have the complete control as a creative person, right? But when to use that, that is completely up to you. No one is going to tell you that. And if someone tells you, but still it will depend on your final decision, right? So now let's see the next image where we have comparatively a much darker image where we are losing most of the details in the darker portion, but the extremely bright, like sky, the overall sky and the brighter areas are like mostly neutral, right? Not extremely overexposed. They are having a proper exposure. and we are losing the darkness in the losing the details in the darker area, right? So, but still, do you think is this photo is good one, or do you think this is a bad one? What do you think? A good one or a bad one? Tell me. Yes, you can show, you can tell your opinions. Tell me that. I would love to see your reacts. Okay. Is this a good one or a bad one? Good one? Bad one? Yes. Many are thinking this is a bad one, right? And many are thinking this is a good one also. Now, let me tell you something. Now, here, the artists have taken this decision. This is not by me. This is taken by another person, some other person. And the artist has the complete creative decision, creative freedom to manipulate his or her photographs, like any other creative medium, right? Now, here, the artists have taken the decision to keep the brightness down and to have almost like a silhouette kind of structure here. Mostly we are losing the details in the silhouette, even in silhouette painting, silhouette photographs, and he or she focused mostly on the brighter areas to be neutralized, to be properly exposed. Now, I think this is a pretty good, pretty well balanced photograph, though we are losing the details. But if you think that details are more important to you, then as a photographer, you can take some other decisions also. That also will be correct. There is no wrong about that. Okay. Now let's see the next one. Now here, this is an example of correct exposure, right? Now, when we are having the correct exposure, the balance of the brightness and the darkness are proper. We are getting sufficient details in both the areas. But as a creative person, if you decide that whether you want an extremely dark picture or extremely bright picture also, that also can work out for you. Okay. So now let's go for the next one. Now, when we are talking about the mobile photography, now the mobile is a very easy and convenient device, right? Now, when we are having a mobile in our hand, it's not necessary for us to go to a very difficult place or difficult area to take some photographs, right? Now, if you know how to photograph, how to capture the essence of the moment, you can find some good photos inside your home also. So like that, I have two examples here. We have the some kitchen items, right? Some food items and some raw ingredients for our cooking. And you can see both the photographs are equally well lit and they are having some like very simple things, though maybe very simple things, but there, do you think this is looking good? Yes? Yes or no? Yes. So you can take some simple images like this with some very simple material. When you are thinking about photograph, it's not about finding some difficult subjects or something complicated. Even with the simplest thing, what is available around us inside our home or even outside, we can start the journey, the practice of photograph. Now let's see how to do so. See, here, you remember few slides back, I have discussed about the high key photograph, the overexposed and the underexposed photograph, right? I have mentioned these two terms. Now, from this overexposed photograph, if we use it for our creative purpose, if we use it for our creative benefit and try to make something like some style or technique out of it, we call that a high key photography. Okay, what is high key photography? You can see here the most of the brighter portions. A beautiful picture this is, right? In this, the most of the brighter portions are overblown. There is not much detail left in the extreme brighter area. Even the boys, the babies head also, the brighter area is getting little bit overblown and we are losing the details from that part also. Now, it is the photographer's creative choice that whether they want to remove it, and still get a better picture, right? So this technique, when you are talking about the technique of underexposed sorry, not underexposed, overexposed photograph, that and you use it for your creative advantage, this we call as high key photography. Clear about it? So now we have another beautiful example here. This is a black and white one where we are losing all the even more details here, but still the picture is looking good because the focus is on the eyes and the photographer has made the decision to focus and to show the details only of those areas, those darker areas, and the rest of the areas are there, but still not so important, not so prioritized in the entire frame. And directly when we are trying to see this kind of photograph, our focus is going directly to those areas, right? To those darker and the detailed areas and not other areas, but still we are having those things. Now, what is the next one? Next one is completely the opposite. Here we are having the low key photography, example of low key photography. So how to do that? With the help of underexposed, right? So when we are sliding the cursor down in case of mobile, and we are trying to get only the brightest areas and rest of the area, the darker area, we are trying to like avoid the details in all of them. So that kind of photograph, you can see the simple headphone is there and we are getting a beautiful image, right? With the reflection and the rest of the area, the darker area is like we are not having, it is there, but still we are not having the details for them. Now I have some students raising their hand. So Yuvantika and Muhil, so you can have your questions typed in the chat box, or you can remember the questions that we will be taking at the end of the session. Okay. So all of you, I will request if you have any questions, you can keep those questions in mind. I will be explaining them at the end, or you can write it down in the chat box. Okay, if possible. So now going further, we have another beautiful example of the low key photography. Here you can see this is a maybe the photographer or I don't know the person who has taken this photograph, but you can see I got fascinated with this photograph where maybe the inside of the room is completely dark and maybe the outside there is a like street light or some any other light source were there on maybe both the sides, where the cat is getting lit only on the outer portion of its fur, and we are losing the entire detail of the eyes, the mouth, and the body, the middle portion, right? So we are just getting the outline, highlighted outline here. So this can be a very good example of low-key photography. But you may think these things are very difficult for you to do with your mobile, right? So maybe you think these are the works of the professional photographers. It can be, but we are here to take inspiration from all the great photographs, and we will be taking our own photographs by using this humble device nowadays, okay, which is the mobile. And mobile photography, you won't be believing, it has developed a great extent over the past years, right? And we have very good technology even in the very starting range phones and even in the simplest phones. And most of the mobiles are very well capable of taking such good photos nowadays. Okay, so whatever the mobile you are having now, you need not to worry about whether it is capable or not. But more important question is you have to think yourself how to make the photograph, how to make the entire composition more interesting for yourself and for others to see. Okay, now here I have some example of techniques how to do it. Now when you're having the overexposed photography, when you're having the high key photography, you can like imagine that if you go to a very bright area, right, and if you place something and if you slide the cursor further to the brighter side, and you can get something like the high key photography, right? That will be comparatively easier to achieve. Now, when we are having a dark room and we all can get some torchlight, right? By using that simple torchlight, a very humble, simple thing in our room. And we have all have some toys, right? By using those toys or any other material at what is available in your room, by making, you can save electricity also. You can tell your parents that I am taking some interesting photographs for half an hour. I don't want to switch on the turn on the lights, right? And you can see with the simple setups, one or two things, you can have the fun of low-key photography. And your results also will be very interesting to see. Okay. So you need not to worry about what you have and how complicated the technique will be, but rather than focusing on those with our available things and with the interest of making some good photographs, we can always conquer this world, right? So here is another example where you can see there somewhere the simple mobile is kept, and there is maybe outside the window the light is falling and it is getting reflected on the this leather vinyl surface and on the mobile screen, right? And just by simplicity of that, if you take this entire frame like this, you can get something interesting also, right? You don't have much complicated subject here. You don't have much different complicated techniques here also, right? You all can achieve this kind of amazing result. Okay, even you can do better. This is a very simple example. Okay, now let's see this photograph. This photograph is taken by Aditya Vyas, or one of my photographer friend. His son is Aditya. So this was taken in during the lockdown time, if I am not mistaken, and he lives in Hyderabad, and he used to study that time in grade, which grade? Grade 7, right? So pretty much he is or he was at this time of your age, most of your age, right? A little bit maybe 1 year younger, 1 year older, or something like that. Now, as his photographer, his father is a photographer, he knows some techniques already. Okay, or he may have learned by seeing his father. But here we will also take inspiration from Aditya, and we will see how we can also do this kind of photography. So what is happening here? We have all have this kind of toys, right? Like whether it is a Spider-Man, teddy bear, or a Iron Man, or whatever it is. Okay. So now we all have some birthday foam spray. We have seen those things, right? By simply spraying that, or simply spraying the water by using the water sprayer also, if you try to click a picture with any kind of subject, whatever is available to you, you can see the flash has been used, right? Or a bright light source has been used to capture this like dots. What are these dots? These are some kind of spray. It can be some foam spray. I think this is the foam spray, right? As this is like accumulating on the shoulder portion and on the face of the Iron Man, we can see this is giving a very nice, interesting effect of a snow, right? Or you can use a water spray also. That also can give some effect like rain or something else. And you can click this kind of photographs but with your camera. Now, when you're taking this kind of photographs, you have to keep one thing in mind. You have to use your flash. Okay. So most of the times we avoid using the flash, and that is all right. But in some situations, you have a simple flash in your mobile. By using that and by capturing the image in this darkness with some kind of spray, you can create this kind of magic with your own home, on your desk, on your table only. Okay, you need not to have a very big space or very complicated things around it. Now, let's move further. So here we have another example of a simply cut tomato, right? We all need to have food, and when maybe I was cooking or someone else was cooking, and when the person have taken the photograph, you can see how simple, how rustic the surface is, maybe a granite floor. And when you're having a simple thing, not multiple things, only one cut tomato, with that also we can get a very nice frame. But why I am showing this to you? For the positioning, the placement of the tomato. Okay, the cut piece. So what about it? Is it at the center? No, this is not at the center, right? This is on the right side or the left side of the place, the frame we are positioning. Now, yes. Okay, Sri is having a question. Sri is raising the hand, but Sri, please remember your question. Okay, take a note, and we will have all the confusions cleared at the end. Is that fine for you? Yes. Okay. Okay. Now let's moving further. Here, why did I mention that? Because I want to talk about the rule of third. Here you can see in this next slide, we are having two photos of the same ingredients, same like materials, same subjects. What is in front of us? A bowl of cereals with some fruits and some spoon and all the other things, right? Here, what is happening when you are see a focus on the left side photo? When you are having this kind of setup at the center, the bowl is at the center, right? And we are having lot of different area our eyes are going, even in the lights, blurred lights at the Christmas tree, maybe in the cup, the spoon, and all these things. And our bowl is little further from in this case. But when we are moving to the right side image, we can see there that we are having the bowl little bit on the left side. It is more focused. It is like bigger and accumulating the bigger frame space in the entire scene. And we are having the direction of the spoon towards the bowl also. It was there before, but it is more defined, and we are having the flat cup. And I think this is more well like composed. Why is so? Because we don't have the what to say. We don't have the like concentration is not going in multiple places, and because it was very distracting to see the little light spots before in the previous left side image, and on the right side we are seeing that the distraction is reduced, removed, and we are taking the frame little bit. We have changed the position of the camera, and we can get a better concentration of our main subject, which is the cereal bowl here, right? Now, why is this so important? Because of, if we just break it down to a rule, simple rule, that suggests that instead of a centralized subject, if we have little bit on the right side, little bit on the down, or little further up or down, or on the left side, so we will have a better circulation of our eye. How our eye works? Maybe as we are writing from the left to right, and we are habituated with this in all our learning from childhood, our eye generally in the visual terms, it works like from left bottom to the right. Okay, there is a more very interesting theory about it, and we can discuss it maybe some other time. But here, based on that rule, how our eye moves in any visual or any pictorial plane or any visual space, this is called the rule of third. What happens in the rule of third? We divide the entire portion from right to left in 3 equal sections, and from top to bottom also 3 equal sections. And we get 4 intersections, right? When we are getting 4 intersections on our screen or on our picture, what happens? These points are called the golden points. Okay, so these are the points where generally our eye moves and it rests finally to get a better understanding. So if you place your subject in these points, if we imagine these grids, some tech mobiles can give you this feature where you can get this grid already before taking the picture, or you can just move the mobile a little bit to get this kind of measurement, imagine them, and just place your subject little bit off centered, whether it is towards top or bottom or right or left, it's completely up to you. And you can get this better focus, and you can get capture the outer area also, the further the background also even better. So our eye doesn't get stuck in the subject, rather it can get space, breathing space, to move around the entire frame. Why it happens like that? Suppose you are having a portrait, like a passport size photograph, right? So you are the only subject there. So you need to stand or sit at the center, and you are the only focus. No other distractions are there. And the person, the photographer, is taking your photo. But when that is mostly for the official purpose and for some boring purpose, right? Where you are the focus, some documentation purpose, something like that. But when you are doing some creative photography, your eye need to move around the frame, and there can be multiple interesting points, but there will be a hierarchy of which is more important, which is less important, which is the next important thing, like that. That you have to divide the priority. And when you are doing so, you can see on our left side image, the watchtower is the priority, is the important thing here, right? But along with that, the sky is also equally important. Very interesting sky. The clouds are getting formed. So you should not, the lighthouse should not be disturbing your eyes from going and observing and enjoying the sky also. So that's why if you place it a little further here, in this case, little towards the left side, what you can see here is that you have a very beautiful balance where your eye is going to the lighthouse, and then your eye is moving to the sky, you're enjoying, and you're coming back to the lighthouse, right? Here on the right side, there is not much things to be shown in the entire picture except the girl and the window. But when you are having a bigger empty space on your left side, and you are putting your subject on the golden points, in this case on the right side, and both the golden points on this right side is getting intersected by the subject, here you can see a beautiful, like a beautiful emotion is getting created, right? There maybe the girl, the child is alone, and she is trying to explore the outer world from her window, right? So here you can show the emptiness, the vastness of this empty room, and you can show how curious she is, where she is trying to roll up that and the window pane, and she is trying to see the outer world, right? She is very curious about that, right? So that's how, by simply changing the placement, you can make a very interesting composition and a more interesting story to tell. Okay. So you can see these all are about techniques and what you are imagining. It's not about the tool what you're having, not much, right? Whether you're having a camera, you're having a mobile, it doesn't matter much if you know how to tell a story, right? So here, this I have taken this photo in 2015, where the mobile is a very convenient thing, right? We all have a mobile, at least one mobile in our pockets nowadays when we are working professional, and even the children, you are also having the mobiles, right? So here, when I was going to office, it's not possible for us to carry a camera, though I love carrying camera and I love taking photos with my camera. But still, it is not so convenient, right? All the time. So if you have a simple device like a phone, you can just, I was traveling in bus to my office space, and here I have taken this photo through the window. It was a really beautiful day. And here, do you think that this is here I have focused on the rule of third or not? Can you show me a thumbs up for if you think that I have focused on the rule of third, or you can show a thumb down for that. Okay. Tell me, what is your opinion? Is the rule of third is observed in this composition or not? So instead of centralized composition, did I try to move the subject little further to the golden points? Yes or no? No? Or yes. So here I have observed the golden point, the rule of third, but in not a way what I have shown before. But if you imagine like two intersecting lines, four intersecting lines on the horizontally and vertical manner with equal spacing, you will be imagining two lines where one line is coming from the left side of the image, where a blurred logo is there on the top, and the orange color taxi, the cab, earlier cab is there. It is coming on the same line pretty much, right? And here on the right side, the line, it is following through the white cab at the bottom. Now, if you divide it horizontally, you will see that if there are three sections, pretty much both the cabs and the cars are coming in the lower part, just barely touching the golden points from the bottom, and the upper two portions are pretty much blank with the darker space, right? So here what is happening, with the darker, against the darker background, we are having the focus on the orange and the white cab, and they are following the rule of third, right? And the bright, vibrant color of the cabs, especially the orange one, that they are making the interesting point. It's a very simple thing, simple image, but it is they are making it a little more interesting to see against the darker background, right? And with the water drops, it is getting more curious, right? So how I am getting the cabs and the water drops and all these things together in an image. So this is taken by a simple mobile available that time with Lumia, Microsoft Lumia. And as I am talking about the quick way of response, right? Now here, if you see, this is the Chennai beach, right? And morning 4:41 a.m., suppose if we are going to the beach, we can see multiple things, and maybe the beach will be empty and the entire mood will be something different than the busy day at the beach, right? The other times. So here, what we are seeing, a lady with her child is walking towards the water or facing the water. Maybe they are here to experience the sunrise. And which beach is this? This is the one of the famous beach of Chennai. You all can imagine, right? So here what is happening? Here they are enjoying, they are experiencing the first light of the day at the beach. And here, when we are clicking this kind of pictures, do you think I have, or it is focused, it is observed the rule of third here? Have we observed the rule of third? Yes or no? Tell me. No? Yes. The subject is at the center, right? If you see from the right and left side, the subject is both the person are pretty much at the center, right? But what is happening? The sky portion is given more importance, and it is wider, it is bigger than the beach portion, right? Than the ground. So that's how we are breaking the exact center position for these two people, and we are getting a better placement with the reflection, with the vastness of the sky, because this is the time of sunrise, right? When this time of the sunrise, the sky will be more interesting. Though this is a black and white picture, but you can see the variations in the sky. Even the ground is also very interesting to see. Even if you see this black and white picture, you can imagine that ground is even more interesting to see than the sky, right? But this here, there is one confusion we will have, and we need to overcome that. That when we are clicking a landscape photography, there we cannot always give equal balance for the sky and the ground. As a photographer, we have to choose, we have to make the decision which portion we want to show bigger than the other. In this case, the sky is bigger than the ground. If some other person is taking the photograph, they can make the ground bigger, getting more space in the entire frame than the sky also. They also can be right. Okay, there is no right or wrong in this kind of pictures. But when you are discussing about segregating the importance of your subject, of your in this case, the visual weightage in the picture. What is the visual weight? You can see the lady and the child is in extreme dark, right? It is the darkest area and their shadow. Rest of the things are bright. So balance this darkness with the bright area is the decision, artistic decision to keep them little down, make that space little smaller than the vastness of the brightness, so that we can have a better balance here. Okay, this is a one person's creative decision. The decision can be different from the others, and they also can be make something even more interesting or equally interesting. Okay, so here also we have observed the rule of third, but not in the horizontal manner, rather in the vertical space. Clear about it? And the subject's positioning is centralized. Now, when we are talking about this kind of rules, you have to keep in mind that we need to learn those rules, because there are some visual grammars, like any other language. When we are talking about Tamil, when you are talking about English or any other language, we need to learn the grammar, right? And then we can construct the sentence, and we can make some essays, the stories, and all these things. We can explore the world hidden in that language, right? Now, this here we are talking about a visual language, and the medium of the visual language here, there can be a lot of different things, but here we are talking about mobile photography. So we will learn the grammar of the visual language, and then we are free to explore, we are free to manipulate those grammars, and we can see our own creative decisions, making some beautiful pictures here. Okay, so here also you can see one picture here. The sky is important and very interesting, and the brick wall of the building is very interesting also. But you cannot give equal balance to both the interesting things. You have to take some creative decisions, which one you want to show more and which one you want to show less. Even in the minimal thing also, even in the lesser portion also, the focus can be hidden in a picture, right? So that's how the balance, the heavy balance of the brown color and all the smaller grains, the textures of the bricks with the solidity, with this heaviness, is complemented by the vastness of the sky, and we are having a pretty simple but a interesting, beautiful photograph, right? This is taken by Suraj Garg. Now here, as a way of quick response in the mobile, we may have a lot of very interesting, good quality cameras in our home, and we know also how to use them. But still, this kind of situation, what happened here, I was traveling, I forgot from which place, maybe from Calcutta to Kanpur or some other places I was traveling, or maybe from Delhi, I forgot completely. Now, what happened here, I was listening to music. That time, Bluetooth speakers or Bluetooth headphones were not there. So I used to have a wired headphone. So you can see this wire is coming in front of me because I was using the headphone at that time. And you can see a child is keeping a simple hand, a palm, on his father's lap, right? Now, this is such an interesting moment for me. It was because we all love to explore the world. And as we grow up, we will be exploring the world, and we will be seeing a lot of new things. But the child, this is a small kid, maybe he is traveling for the first time or some like this, he is pretty young. So when he is traveling with his father, he loves to capture, he loves to see, not capture, he loves to see, observe the outside world, which is new to him, which is outside his home and known world of everyday life. But he is eager to explore. He was looking at the outside, but at the same moment, he had a palm on his father's lap, which is a sense of like a safe place, right? A say like sense of home, sense of security. So you will think about it maybe in a different manner, but it was at this moment, it was very interesting for me when the boy is looking somewhere else, but still he has his palm kept on his father's lap. Okay, so he have a sense of what to say, like known place for him, from where he can get the courage and he can explore the entire world. Our parents give us that courage, right? So that moment was very interesting, and though I was carrying my camera for this long journey, but I didn't have to get my camera and capture this moment. So spontaneously, instantaneously, I can capture this moment with my phone. The mobile gives me this freedom, and I was like, I am lucky enough to capture this moment. Though this may not be a very good photograph, but the moment, the emotion was very interesting and very important for me at that moment. So you can see there is another beach of Chennai, a beautiful one. And here, when we are taking this kind of photograph, we are taking the camera down near the water and taking the photo, right? So almost like from the same level. But if we try to do with a heavy camera, what we have to do, we have to sit down, we have to bend down, and we have to take. And if any sudden like wave is coming, then we will also get wet and our camera will also get the water, right? So to avoid this kind of situation, if we have a simple mobile, we can just bend down, we can put our simple hand with this light weight device, and we can take the camera, and as we see any wave approaching, we can just take it out and we will have a beautiful picture, right? So let's talk about the landscape here. So you can see here I have taken one landscape photograph. This was taken in Kanpur, and two of my friends are walking ahead of me, and we have some this grass and the flower like flower grass, and we have a vast landscape. But still, you can see, though my friends are walking, maybe they are my important subjects, right? But still, I am taking the decision not to keep them at the center. Rather, I want them to place in such a way where I can explore the beauty of the land, and they are also being part of the landscape. So that's why I have like focused on, decided on taking this in a composition of a rule of third, where I'm getting a better idea, better understanding of the background, the landscape, and the people who are placed in that also, right? So here is a beautiful picture, another beautiful picture. This is a very good one. So now here we are seeing that mostly the color over the dominating color of this picture is the blue, right? And we are having the landscape little down, we are having more sky at the top, and we are having the small narrow boat here placed in this space, where this color of the boat is completely different from the rest of the picture, right? We're having a simple small red boat, which is making the entire picture very interesting, along with the blue sky and the entire dominating background, right? So these kind of things, when we are talking about the photography in general or mobile photography, whatever the device we are using, we should remember these rules of domination and the priority, and we can make a better composition and we can tell a better story about it, right? So I would like to stop here today, and I would like to ask the questions now. After that, we have a lot of other things also to talk about in this mobile photography. Maybe another day we will be discussing about all of this. Okay, so let's see about your questions. Please let me know what you are thinking, what questions you are having now. Do you have any question in the chat? Do you have any chat? No, we don't have chat. Yes, children, please raise your hand. We can unmute you and we can have the questions answered.
Yeah, we have 3 children who have raised hands.
Yes.
Shri Nikesh Karthikeyan, please unmute.
Ma'am, I am unmuted, ma'am.
Yes, please tell us, what is your question?
Wait, sir.
Sorry, I couldn't understand.
Wait, sir. I write my question. I kept it here, sir. In the text.
Okay, okay. Harish, do you have any question? Yes.
Sir, in which,
Yes,
in which
tell me.
mode to take the small photos?
Sorry.
Sir, in which mode we should put and take all these photos, sir?
So the modes at the beginning, I would like encourage you to take the photos in a normal mode. Okay, don't go for other presets what is available in the mobile. But first we will focus on making a beautiful frame, capturing the frame. Okay, the modes, automatically the camera will be blurring something because mobile camera, they use the AI, right? they will blur something, they will. I would encourage you to take the photograph in a normal mode to have a better understanding of your entire frame. Now, once we get that understanding, then we will see how to use the other modes. Okay. There are a lot
Yes,
of
sir.
other things I want to discuss with you guys about mobile photography. Maybe some other day, maybe another part we will have of the same program, same workshop, and we can discuss all these things. Okay. Yuvantika, do you have any question? You can unmute.
Yes,
Yuvantika.
sir. I'm having one question, sir.
Please tell me.
So where is the shadow button, sir? I can't able to understand the shadow part.
Shadow, not shadow button. There is no shadow button. There is a shutter button. Shutter button means how you can click the picture, right? Shutter button means how you can click the picture, right? If I click this, there will be a small blink and my picture will be captured, right? So this is the shutter button, not the shadow button. So for shadow, for high key and low key photography, we have to like push the slider maybe top to bottom or from right to left or the other way to get the picture darker or lighter. Okay, there is no other shadow button. Clear about it?
Yes, sir. So one more question, sir.
Please tell me.
So where we can learn more about mobile photography, sir?
Mobile photography, you can learn. There are many things available on YouTube nowadays. You can search, or we will also have another session for you guys. Okay, we will
Yes,
discuss
sir.
more different things on mobile photography. Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
there is no place to take photography. Means what we can do, sir?
So that's what I was discussing. You know, you remember at the beginning, I show you some pictures of tomato and chili and all these things.
Yes, sir.
All these things are available in your room. You need not to worry about, right? You need not to go to some very high mountains in Himalaya or Kodaikanal to take these photos. So you
We
can go
can-
there and get some photos, beautiful photos there also. But if you don't go somewhere else, somewhere difficult places to take the photograph, but still with the available material also at your home, you can take some beautiful
We
photos.
can take the photo of nature's sceneries, sir.
Why not? Why not? So your subject is completely your choice. We will learn about different techniques and we'll see lot of different examples, right? And then it's your creative choice how you want to take the photographs and what you want to take the photographs of.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Lavina, do you have any question?
Yes, I
Yes.
do have the
Yes, please.
like how to get a blurry photo, sir. Like if I'm standing there, the scenery is on back of back of me. So how to get it blurry?
So that depends on the depth of field. In mobile, by using AI, they automatically blur most of the cases, right? When you are taking the photos in the portrait mode and all, they blur it on their own. So you can use that portrait mode for that. Otherwise, I will suggest that you need not to worry about the blurriness at the background. Now you can think about the proper composition where you are keeping your subject and how it is looking interesting, and you can just move with your camera and you can see the positions from where your subject is looking better and the more priority is given to it, okay, with better understanding of the background. Now this blurriness we will be exploring further in the next classes, okay. This
Okay,
effect
sir.
we'll do it. Yes, Harish. Yes.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, last you show your friends are walking, two friends are walking now, sir.
Yes. Yes.
Sir, how do you make that photo, sir? That yellowish color.
Yellowish tone, that is about the editing the photographs, okay. That is also the mobile, that picture is taken by mobile and edited by mobile also. In the second session of mobile photography, we'll be discussing about the editing part also, okay.
Sir, you
Yes.
told you should for brightening the photo and to bright out the photo, no, sir.
Okay, yes. That is the high key photography, overexposed photography, right? Yes.
Sir, while taking photo, I should drag the hand, sir.
No, you should drag. There will be a simple thing like this. when you are focusing somewhere, you can see my screen. So when you are
Yes, sir.
focusing, no, it's getting blown out, right? Suppose you are having the focus here. So there will be a sun logo will be there. It will be darker. If you slide it further on the opposite direction, it will be darker and lighter, right?
Yes, sir.
So by using that cursor, you can decide the brightness of the photo.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Yes,
yes, so you can send us your questions, and there is another session after this. So we would have to like end it here, but definitely we will have a second session and we will clear all your doubts. Is that okay for all of you? Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, can you hear me, ma'am? Yes. Yogita, you have any question?
Yes, sir. So,
Yes, tell me.
so if, for example, like in a phone with a low camera quality, if there any app to make it like brighter and more?
It will be a little difficult. There can be some apps but I'm not sure about that. But now today we are not talking about the quality of camera. Rather, we will be focusing on whatever camera and whatever quality you are having, how to make a frame, how to make the frame interesting. If you have a low resolution camera, but still maybe the photograph will be little grainy, and that is all right. But if you have a better understanding of what to capture, how much will be the frame, right?
Yeah.
So that will give you a better edge over someone who is having a better quality camera than you. Okay, you need not to worry about that. Definitely, you'll get a better camera after some time.
No, sir. If for example, you just show the previous one with the some second, the Madras beach, like in the the quality was good, sir. But in what position we have to take, sir? Like we should bend over the camera into the.
Yeah, that depends on you. Like suppose if you want to take the go near the water, like I have shown in that picture, one picture, then you have to take the camera little towards the water. That's why it will be, as this is camera is a lightweight like device, it will be easy to take it out if any waves or something is coming, right? So it will be easy to access. Got it? So you have to change the position to take tell a better story and take a better photograph in that sense. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Are you
Yes, sir.
there?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
ma'am.
Yes, sir. We can end the session here, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you so
Okay.
much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you
Yeah, I
everyone for
appreciate the
joining us.
time.
Yes, and definitely
Yeah.
we will have one more session on mobile photography and we will discuss about much other things in that. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, children. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.